of the recon, can you see once again the same things is asked? First of all, the journals, the bank account, the recon. I like doing all three all at once, that I don't have to reread the info and maybe leave out something important. So now the first thing I see here is they give me an extract from the bank recon for May. Now if you look, you will see that everything is asked for June, you see, meaning this one is last month's recon. So let's just quickly go back into our heads. Remember now, in May they compared the CRJ, CPJ with the bank statement, and that which was not in the bank statement they put in a BRS, which is like a reminder for me in June. First thing I want to check when I get June's bank statement is I want to see is those things that were outstanding last month in this month's bank statement, and then I compare it with this month's CRJ, CPJ. So in other words, this is what's outstanding from May. And then you'll see directly after that they give me a note. So if I look at the note, it says, the outstanding deposit on 30 May appears on the June bank. So that one is done, it appears. That's a wonderful thing because that's what we want. We want what is in our books to also be recorded in the bank's books. How do we know it's in the bank's books? By checking the bank statement. Okay. However, the deposit on 9 May appeared as 12,420. Can I just say this? In the first place, it's very suspicious because can you see how long ago that deposit was made? Okay, so that's already suspicious. But it appears as 12,420. So that 12,420, I can see it's 10,000 Rand less than what it's supposed to be. Okay, so in real life, in physical life, we're going to investigate where the 10,000 went, and we're going to deal with the person who's guilty of losing it or stealing it. But in your books, we're going to follow prudence, and we're going to write it off. So that 10,000, we're going to write it off in the CPJ. If they asked details, you would have said loss cash, loss on deposit, or loss on cash stolen. And if I've asked you an income statement, it would actually be an expense of 10,000. Because where do I get the 10,000 from? I'm going to lose it from my profit. Okay. So now that one is sorted. Next one, the EFT 121 on the June statement with the correct amount 13,450. Now can you see they say the statement has the correct amount. The statement is the copy of the bank's books of my account, right? So the bank is fine, so I'm wrong. If the bank was wrong, they would have said the incorrect amount. Then you'll know, oh, this one is right, this one is wrong. But now they're saying this one is right, this one is wrong. And immediately, just please go back to recons that we did grade 11. If it's understated, I fix it on the same side. Overstated, I go to the opposite side. Wrong side, I fix twice. Okay, those principles still apply here because it's a recall. So now I see it's overstated, so I'm going to go to the opposite journal. What is the opposite journal? Now I said to you, EFTs on the bank recon is always CPJ. So the opposite journal is going to be the CRJ. The difference is 900. And if I had to write a detail, what would you have said? They would have had to tell you what that EFT was for. If it was for water and electricity or for rent expense, and that is what you would write there. Okay. All the other entries are correct. So we are done. But now I have one piece of information I can still use, and that's the favorable bank balance in the bank account. Can you see? They could have made that a question mark, gave me the bank statements balance. Then I would have been able to calculate the bank balance here. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So now I go to my calculation for the bank T. So if I look at this calculation here, can you see calculate means I can say this plus this minus this. Or for me personally, it's easier to draw a T for a bank. And I know it's a plus minus. And by the way, for yourself, when you start a recon, always say to yourself, my bank is plus minus, the bank statement is minus plus. Just so that you don't get confused. Okay. So now they say it's a favorable, and favorable is a plus, so I put that in. They give me the totals of the journals, which they already put in. Remember, in a test they don't have to, so check that they did do that. So now we start. Information in the June bank statement. Can you see? We have now compared that bank recon, so we're done with that. Now we have the bank statement and we compare it with this month's journals. So they say transaction fees. I know that is bank charges. Bank charges, CPJ. Interest on a credit balance, CRJ. Ne? Ne? Don't get confused. We are doing this from the point of view of the bank statement. The bank statement minus plus. So plus is favorable on the credit side, which means CRJ in my books. A debit order for the city council for utilities. What is utilities? So basically the municipality sends you water and you get a bill for water, ne? And electricity, but most of us these days have a prepaid little machine because it's safer. But they also charge you for, if they say utilities, would be for the removal of your dustbins, for with your water and electricity. Actually, what's interesting is a certain percentage of what you pay for water, you also pay for slurage, ne? For it going down the drain. Okay, so that's all your utilities. A deposit of 42,200 from Growth Bank, being a fixed deposit, matured with the interest. Now, since I am just doing calculations, I can write the full amount like this. I don't need to split it. If, however, they ask you to do a CRJ, a proper CRJ like we did at the start, you had to split the fixed deposit and the interest. Okay. Yeah, but then they would have to give you more info than this. Okay. EFT 182 for 3121 in favor of Ace Garage dealers was recorded in the correct journal. So our books are fine. Perfect Bank, however, reflected it twice on the statement. So can you see the bank made the mistake, so we fix it in the recon. Okay. So I know I always start with a balance according to the statement, a balance according to the bank account, and then I'm going to fix a mistake. And that mistake, I'm only going to fix one of the 3121s because the other one is supposed to be there. Right. So how will I do it? That 3121 is on what side of the bank statement if it's a debit order? Makes my bank less, bank statement less on the debit side. So what am I going to do to fix it?
On the credit side.
I'm going to credit it. 32121. Okay. Can you see? They can also ask you that the amount is wrong, that you have to do the overstated, understated thing here as well. Okay, same principles. Now, debtor I pay, so that's a good one because he pays, send Zay Traders proof of a direct deposit into the business account of 7860. So, being a payment on her account, the bookkeeper entered it in the CPJ. Can you see? It's in the wrong journal. It's supposed to be in the CRJ. Now what did I say? Wrong side, fix twice. So it's wrong in my books. So I need to fix it in the journals. So I need to put in the 7860 2 times. Ne? Because if I think about it, if it's like a T, I put it here, 7860, right? Let's say this is CRJ, this is CPJ, because what is the bank other than CRJ, CPJ? So now I put it this side, it's the wrong side. Can you see, if I put it on the debit side, what's going to happen? It's going to make it 0, as if it never happened. So then I have to go put it in again, because it did happen. You see? That's why it's twice. You don't have to write it twice, you can add it, and then it would be what? 16,720, I think. Am I totally wrong? What is it? Okay, if you can write that as well. Okay, so they will mark 1, 2 or 1, 2. Same thing. Okay, next one. ATM withdrawal by Zay. It's 6,000. And now I just need to total. And let's total. What's the CRJ? And CPJ? Okay, so you will not get marks for totaling, okay? But you need to do the totaling because I need to be able to give you a mark here. This will be a mark if I can see that you took this one from the CRJ and you did include the opening total. So I need to see your totals. Don't get into the habit of doing the calculation on your calculator and instead of writing the amount there, go and write it there. You have to write it in both places. Okay, so now if I look at this, this is 610, this is already 669. So obviously the debit side is the biggest side, so my balance is going to be a debit balance. And what is my debit balance? And because it's a calculation, you don't have to do balance CO, balance BE, because it's just a calculation. And how much is that? 1, 2,
403.
no, let's start again. 1,
12403.
are you sure it's that much?
Yeah.
Okay, it's on the debit side, so I'm going to put it here on the debit side. And now I go look. Following items were in the journals only, meaning not in the statement. And most probably it is because we received the statement before we made those transactions. So it will appear in the July statement. Okay, so here we go. Outstanding deposit, which is what, 10,000? Maybe it's that stolen 10,000. Eh? I'm just saying. The EFT, it's not necessarily, it just...
No, the dates don't allow me.
But it just make, I'm just thinking maybe they caught the guy and he paid it. 188, 189, it's 6780, 2468. And now, if I look, this side is definitely bigger because it's 124. So I total the debit side, it gives me 133,286, and I know the two sides need to be the same. So I say this less gives me 120,141,4.
165. I got 165.
Like that. Can you see, just by the way, can you see it works on the same principle as a T account? Debit, credit. It's a T account. I'm balancing. Okay. Now, let's get to the final answer. They asked me here, the auditor identified problems relating to deposits. Okay. So, the first problem is obviously 10,000 is missing. And this is all you need to write. You don't have to write a long sentence. Because I want a figure and a reason. So there you already got your marks. Now they ask, this is a piece of evidence. But they also ask here, can you see the question paper asks more than the answer sheet? They say, explain and quote one piece of evidence. Okay. Now, let's quickly ask, what will you say, how will you prevent this from happening again?
Oh, so 2.
Yeah, no, I'm just asking. It wasn't part of the question, but I'm asking you. What would you do to prevent it in future? Yes. Okay. So, in other words, check the deposit slip.
Yes. Have more than one person go to the bank.
Have more than one person go to the bank. What if it's a gang and they come and slot them? But it's true. Take more than one person to the bank. What is a very important one is the division of duties. So in other words, the person, the bookkeeper or the guy recording is not the person handling cash. They're not allowed to handle any cash. Another thing that's very important is deposit all cash daily. And the reason why I say this, it's to prevent cash rolling. Now let me explain cash rolling to you. So cash rolling works like this. Remember, I have my CRJ, né? So my CRJ has got an analysis and it's got a bank. And I've got a bank statement. So let's say on day 1, I receive 7,000 and again 1,000, meaning I'm going to deposit 8,000. I received 8,000. So if I go deposit the 8,000, that 8,000 will appear on my bank statement on the 1st. Right. The second day, I receive 5,000. So I go deposit 5,000. And so forth and so forth. Let's say day 3 I had a direct deposit. Now, can you see if I do a bank recon, I can see, oh, that was there, this is there. Can you see? I will pick up if stuff is missing. No? Okay. Now let's say this isn't my bank statement. My bank statement looks like this. I randomly deposit. So that first day, I go and I deposit 5,500. And day 2, I go deposit 5,200. And day 3, even though I didn't receive money, I go deposit 500. Can you see now? My pattern is erratic. There's no way for me to check. No. So in other words, if someone takes 500 Rand there, is there any way for me to pick up that that 500 is missing if I erratically deposit? No, there's no way. And that process we call cash rolling. Because I'm rolling the cash in such a way that it always looks like I receive money and I deposit money. But they never correlate. So they cannot pick up that cash was missing. You guys get it? Okay. So the biggest thing that you can do to keep cash rolling from happening is to deposit all cash daily. All the cash that you received, you go deposit it so that you can compare the bank statement with the analysis of receipts. Okay. That's the important one. Then, if you're a big business, get fidelity guards. And they come with their guns and whatever. And if they are robbed, that company needs to pay you back because they are ensuring that your money will go safe to the bank. Okay. There was also another problem. The other problem is that deposit. What was that deposit? 98732 million. The 7860 was put in the CPJ instead of CRJ. So that's also a problem. But this is human error. Please don't, if I say to you, how do I prevent that? You're not going to say, oh, get a new bookkeeper. Because this is a human error. It is literally, that person might have been so overwhelmed with all the work he had to do, he just by accident put it in the wrong journal. It's a human error. So, you can't really prevent it, but you can pick it up. And how did we pick it up? How did we pick it up? They told me here. And how did they see that?
The bank statement.
It's when they compared it to the bank statement. So to do that one, do regular bank recons. You see, that's the whole purpose of a bank recon, is to pick up mistakes, to pick up if I left out stuff. No? That's the main reason, because in the end I want my books and the bank's books to be the same.